Hi, wherever you're watching us this afternoon, I'm back again. I'm the sweet voice on radio. But I'm not on radio today, I'm TV, so that means you're watching and hearing me live and direct. We're reaching you from SparkZ Global here in Wolverhampton. And if you're wondering why Kendi Oshindo is not here today, it's because he's handling the camera, so he's behind the camera. And what we're doing today is what we've always done. So we'll have another motivational session. We've got a guest in the house who will be talking to us about one or two things that is important for us. He's a man of many ways, and I don't think I have the right to introduce him myself. So I'll allow him to introduce himself, and then he'll tell us who he is, and then we'll take it from there.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Charles Onyekaba. I'm a business analyst with significant years of experience working in various industries. I started my career working in education. I worked in a university, and then I later moved to his logistics company. I stayed there, and now I'm in a financial industry working. So I'm not just a business analyst, I'm a BA mentor as well, and a career coach. Over the last few years, I've helped a lot of people transition into tech, especially business analysis. Yeah, some years ago, growing up, when I heard about tech, I always think that tech is, you must have all those coding skills and everything. I was afraid of it, yeah, but once I've transitioned, I made it very, very important, and then made it, as a point of duty to help a lot of people transition into tech as well. So that's what I do.
Thank you for that. Where you stopped is where we're starting from. Who is a business analyst?
So that's a very good question, because when people, I feel like that word, that career or that profession is not too popular, especially for people who are coming from Africa and all of that. People coming from Africa, they tend to know who a data analyst is, who a software developer is, but when you come here, you start hearing things like business analyst, and you're wondering who is a business analyst and what do they do. So in simple terms, business analyst is the middleman between the business stakeholders and the technical guys. So what we do is help the business, elicit requirements from them, and then translate those requirements to the people who will deliver them. We call them the technical team. So we're always working with the business, maybe a company, the stakeholders. If, for example, they say they want an app, we go close to them, understand what their requirements are. What do they want that app to do? And having elicited that requirements, we go to the technical guys, the people who know the stuff, who will do the coding and everything, and we help them, translate what is written as a requirement to what will become the final product or service. So that's exactly what we do.
So your relationship is not between businessmen and customers?
Not exactly. We do all of that. We are working with the business. Sometimes we need to sit with the business customers to understand their pain points, But it doesn't end there. So when we understand that pain points, we now try to translate those pain points into wins. Do something called like root cause analysis. If the customers are complaining about the service they have, they need an improvement and all of that. So what we do is go to the business, get access to those customers, or get access to people who are in those customer facing roles, to try and understand how can we improve. Every business wants to give their customers value. I mean, that's what keeps them in the game here. So at the end of the day, we want to understand what that problem is. Sometimes when we say problem, it doesn't necessarily need to be a problem. It can be an opportunity. Yeah. So when we go, we try to understand, what it is. And then if it's something that needs IT, sometimes not necessarily IT, might not be an app, it might just be an improvement, looking at the process and say, okay, why we're having, why we can't optimize this process is because there are lots of things happening that shouldn't be happening and all of that. So effectively, we're like the middleman, talk to the business, get what they want, and then we go to translate exactly what they want to the IT guys who will then deliver those things.
Does every business need a business analysis?
That's one thing. That's a very good question. So especially in the UK, when I started my introduction, if you notice, I've said something like I've worked in various industries. So I've worked in education, I've worked in logistics, and now I'm currently working in the financial industry. Yes. So going by how I've traveled doing all of these things, you would understand that almost in every sector everybody needs a business analyst, because every organization is looking at adding value to their customer. Every organization, nobody would open a business that doesn't want to gain make profits or make sales. So everybody needs a business analyst, and especially in the UK, the business analysis is in the UK job shortage list. So what this means is that we don't even have enough business analysts to fill roles in the UK.
I know it's sounding as if I'm overflogging this, but what difference does a business analyst bring to a business? What difference?
So it's a lot here. The first thing is value. The second thing is you're able to translate what should be a problem, translate it to big wins, for that company. So that's the most important thing is value. Everybody wants value, and that value is very, very interested. It's an important thing that companies are looking out for.
One thing I like about you is the confidence with which you're answering your questions. It shows how ingrained and engrossed you are.
It's something I love doing, honestly.
It's obvious.
It's something I love doing, honestly, and I've done this for lots of years, and it's. When I came here and I wanted to transition, I wanted something that would give me an opportunity to be myself, use my soft skill, not do one thing every day. And that's what I love about this role. Today you're talking with customers, tomorrow you're talking with the business, next tomorrow you're talking with developers, other days you're spending time attending meetings, seminars, improving on yourself, doing your personal development and all of that. So it's something I really love doing. Every day is different. You can't quite spread it.
You said something on transition, and we're going to come back to that. How you transitioned from whatever you were doing to become a business analyst. I think the question that I should ask now actually is, what do I need to become a business analyst?
So I've always told people, because I've been doing this, the mentoring part, for nearly 4 or 5 years now, and I've always told people it's not rocket science. The most important thing that you need to transition is your soft skills. Are you able to communicate? Are you someone who documents very well? Are you somebody who shows empathy? Are you someone who can negotiate? Are you someone who can, resolve conflict and all of that? How creative are you? Are you somebody who is analytical? For me, that's the most important thing. So there are 3 things you actually need. The first one and the most important one is your soft skills. That's why I feel like everybody can be a business analyst. So once you've gotten that soft skills in the bag, with that you can learn some BA techniques and BA tools. Learn some of the techniques we use every day live, and then learn some tools, maybe Confluence, Jira, all of those things. Once you've learned all of those things, the next thing is to get the experience, and the experience will come because most people who are thinking about transitioning, they're already doing well in their domains. Some work in health sector, but they are doing different roles. So the next thing is, within that role, the processes. Just, if there is an opportunity for you to become a business analyst, then why not? You can jump into there. But there are not too many skills. There are not too many roles in tech that is very, very high on soft skills as business analysis. If you want to be a data analyst, you need to go and learn their programming and all of those things. But for you to become a business analyst, the first thing is you need to learn how to build rapport with your stakeholder, learn how to be critical, and then, you then pick up the other tools and the other techniques that you need in your toolbox.
Do we need to go to university to become a business analyst?
Oh, that's a very nice question as well. Thank you. I've gotten this question quite a long time. As far as I know, in the UK today, there is no university that teaches business analysis.
Wow.
There is no university that teaches business. I stand corrected. I don't know it all, but you see schools offering data science, business analyticals, and all of that. You don't necessarily need to go to any university to become a business analyst. The first thing that you need, like I said, is your transferable skills. You need to, have your transferable skills, go for a proper training, get your hands dirty. So it's not just about learning the theoretical part of it. You need to have an opportunity to, put your hands in the real job, do a real life project where you can leverage on all of those things that you've learned, the tools, the skills, and then you do the job. And one most important thing that you need that people get to forget, because you can go to YouTube and learn everything you want to learn if you think so, but these days in the internet there's a lot of things in this in the internet. You need a mentor. You need somebody to point you in the right direction. When it's time for CV, you need somebody to look at your CV, proofread your CV, say, okay, this CV is good. You need somebody to guide you. You know, a mentor's, and like in every other profession, everybody needs a mentor. You know, I've been mentoring people for years, but I was telling my students the other day that even in my office, I have a mentor. In the IIBA community, I mentor people, and I also have a mentor. You need a mentor. It is very, very important. Yeah.
My next question is going to be two-pronged. So it's going to be two questions in one. I know you did not study business analysis or in Nigeria. So that means you were doing something different before you came to UK, and you must have had to transition from whatever you were doing to become a business analyst. So the first question would be, what were you doing before? How did you transition? That's the first question. The second question would then be, what did you have to do to become a business analyst? I know you've said you didn't go to any university, but what training did you have to do? Did you have to attend any class at all? Or did you have to read books? What did you have to do to transition?
So that's very nice. I tell people that I'm a trained architect, and they find it difficult to believe. So I have my BSc in architecture, I have my master's degree in architecture, and I have over 10, 12 years experience in
Let me just ask, why did you leave architecture?
I'll get to that. So
Okay.
I've got like 10, 12 years experience in architecture, and some of my projects are very notable in Nigeria. I design and built churches. One of my biggest projects is in Surulere, where I converted a hotel to, a cancer center. So I love architecture very well because it brings out the best in me. I draw very well. I'm creative. I'm somebody who likes thinking. I like, interacting with people to understand what they need and all of that. But to answer your second question, when I moved into the UK some years ago, I came here with, all of those optimism, that it's a new environment, that I should be able to, move forward and continue practicing my profession and become an architect a bit in a different environment. But yeah, so I made all the inquiries. I think their governing body here is called RIBA. I made all the inquiries. I stayed at home for some time, applied, and I was told that for some reasons, they don't quite value, some of those, my degrees from back home, and they wanted me to do like a finishing school or something that would take me like, I think 4 years or so. So I pushed and pushed and pushed, and at some point it became frustrating. So like I always do, I turned my frustration into, a blessing, and that's when I started reading about, IT, tech. I started with wanting to become a software engineer. Nobody would believe. And I started, I was self-studying. I met a lot of people, but I felt it was very, very difficult for me. And I was very, very truthful to myself because I did what is called my SWOT analysis. I checked what my strengths were, my weaknesses, my opportunities and threats. And I felt that I didn't quite align to, becoming a software developer because I felt that that's, it would be too demanding for me. And the next thing I thought about was project management because, being an architect, I've self-managed some of my projects, back in Nigeria. I worked for a big company. I don't want to mention the name, and I worked for another company that did interior.
If you mention the name, you have to pay for advance.
And then after I did interior architecture, and at some point I owned my own business in Nigeria. So I felt like I've seen it all. So it was a pain leaving architecture, to be honest. I didn't want to, but at some point I needed to sit down and then ask myself, what do I need to do? What's the next step? And that's when that was my first touch point with IT. Project management was there. I read about project management. I felt like I could do it, But the first thing is the way I understood project management was not exactly the way it appeared, here. I was thinking project management is about going to sites and all of those things. So when I started reading it, it's lovely. It was nice, but I felt like it would make me be doing the same thing every time. And if you heard me talking about business analysis, I just wanted something challenging. I wanted something that would make me do different things every time, think out of the box, where I can bring all those transferable skills that I had when I was an architect, requirements engineering. While I was an architect, if you told me you wanted a 3-bedroom duplex, I won't just go and build the 3-bedroom duplex. I will probe more and ask you, how big do you want the sitting room, all those things. So, I found business analysis, and it was very, very interesting for me. Then I started, developing interest in it. I read a lot. So, so when I was talking about YouTube, I didn't have a mentor, and I was all over the place. There were lots of resources online everywhere. I was jumping from one book to another. This day you read this one, and tomorrow you see another school of thoughts, kind of giving you the same opinion and all of that. And at some point, I felt like I needed a mentor. I went for different trainings, but I wasn't quite satisfied, with what I was getting. It felt like some of them were just after the money, So I felt like I wasn't necessarily getting value for my money. Yeah, I wanted somebody to mentor me, hold my hand, look at me, tell me this is your strengths, this is how you can do this different and all of that. So, and that's why, it took me a lot of time to transition, because I went to different places. And when I finished the training, somebody would come again that this is for interview. This training is just to prep you for interview. You pay again for CV, to look at your CV. So it was a whole lot. And all these things were my pain points. So as soon as I transitioned, I said, no, I don't think this is a good experience. This is not a good customer journey. This is not something that anybody would, wish. It can frustrate a lot of people who are thinking about transition. And that spurred me to, open an organization, that helps people to transition into IT. Yeah.
So you have an organization that does that now?
Yes.
Oh, I will need to ask about that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure a lot of our viewers would want to know what they need to do and how can they get through to that process. So do you have a certificate as a business analyst?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm a certified business analysis practitioner. And that's the highest level of certification if you are going the IIBA route. IIBA is the International Institute of Business Analysis. So IIBA, they are in the UK, but they are big in New Zealand, Canada, and all of that. So in the UK, I think they are, in terms of their certification, it's normally aligned to the British Computer Society, and you need to get a diploma. I think that's one of the highest certification. I've done 2 of my modules, and I'm edging towards that. Not also that, I'm a Lean Six Sigma yellow belt. I'm a risk manager.
When you say yellow belt, what came to mind? What did you do?
No. I'm a change manager. I'm a product owner. I'm a scrum master. I'm somebody who develops a lot. I believe that as an individual, you should be responsible for your own personal development. I was doing an interview sometime last year, and somebody saw my CV, and one of the interviewers was shouting and was like, "Wow." And all of that, and I told them that most of the certifications I've done, no company, not too many as any company paid for me. And every year I look at myself, I tell myself, what do I want to do? I don't just do certification just because I want to do it. I do, like I said that already, SWOT analysis, find out what are my gaps, what area do I need to fill, what training do I need, and all of that. This year I've done some few certification and training on presentation, because I know I'll be, part of my goal this year was to come out of my shell. I'm not somebody who likes putting my face out on camera before now. But part of my goal was to come out and tell people, start telling my story to make an impact, start telling people that this is possible and all of that. So I improved myself, even though, when I went at work, my colleagues were surprised that I was going for presentation skill. They felt like I was a good presenter. I talk and I facilitate very well. But I always tell people, learning never stops. The day you stop learning is the day you stop. Yeah. So you keep learning. Yeah.
So just to summarize what we've talked about and things like that, to be a business analyst, you need some soft skills. You've talked about that, which you need to develop. You need some technical know-how, which you need to work on. You need some training.
Yes.
And you need to be certified. You need to write some exams.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. What certification does? I've asked that question quite a lot, because it's a big debate, experience and certification. If you live in the UK, for example, you know that everybody, all the jobs out there, people are, is big on experience. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you should undermine certification. What certification does is it proves that you are somebody who is interested in your personal development, and it also validates your experience. So I've trained a lot of people who do not necessarily have to be certified, but I like people to be certified because it can give you an edge. If I'm an interviewer and 2 people come to me after a series of interviews, they are at par, I would look. That might just give you the edge. That somebody has a certification, it shows that this person is interested in his or her personal development. Not just that, it validates that knowledge that you said you have, because you've read it from the book, and over the years you've been practicing and doing all of that. So certification is, I won't say it's a must, but it's honestly good to have.
So if I want to be a business and become a business analyst now, you're someone that can show me the way on
Of
how
course.
to do it. And all I have to do is get the soft skills, go through some training, and then you probably point one or two directions to me,
Exactly.
and then I'll become a business. How long do you think this can take?
So this whole thing, I've trained people. There was a lady I trained last year, and to be honest, 3 months, her
Wow.
first interview, she got it. That was her first interview, she got it.
With that experience?
Yeah, so that 3 months will cover the experience, because in that 3 months you will do the theory and you have an opportunity to work in a UK real life project. So she worked on a project, a learning management system for an organization. She was the BA and she worked and she delivered that. So with that, she was able to get stories for an interview. She was able to enrich and then, make her CV very, real, and people could look at it and feel like this person has done some bit of business analysis work. She went for an interview and she smashed it. She's working now currently as a business analyst. So for different people, it can be different journey, but at the end of the day, it's how much you want it. The one thing I've not mentioned in all of this is that for you to transition, even though sometimes people say it's not rocket science, you need to have the passion to succeed.
Yeah.
It will push you, it will push you, but you need to be dedicated. You need to open your book. You need to be coming to classes. Even though you have a mentor, help the mentor by, answering the right question, having the right attitude, reading when you need to read, because it's not something you've done. Same is talking about this architecture, even though I could find the touch point and all of those things, but from architecture to being a business analyst is still a long way, but you need to continuously push yourself, yeah.
Is there a specific background that suits the job of a business analyst?
So there are various background, because like I said, the major thing is you're doing that SWOT analysis of yourself, looking at yourself, what do I do more? And then you start doing your research and all of those things.
So I don't have to be an IT person?
Not necessarily. So some of the things that I brought in my life or in my former role to business analysis was, like I'm a very creative person. I'm published. I've written 2 books while I was in Nigeria. I'm the author of Swinging Emotions.
Whoa.
I'm also the author of Shadow of Truth. So I'm a very creative person. I've written 2 books. I used to contribute for some online newspapers when I was in Nigeria, especially Daily Post. So if you Google my
You'll
name,
pay for advert though.
yeah. So if you Google my name, you'll see that I've written quite a lot. So I'm someone who likes writing. I'm someone who likes probing. I'm very creative. I consider myself as somebody who is analytical, and then I'm not somebody that you just tell, don't go here. This place is not good for you. I will always probe, even though I don't want to go. I want to know why I shouldn't go. All those things are, soft skills that are very, very good. In terms of conflict, even from your home, your kids come and tell you, see what we are going through. You need to hear from one person, and then bring them together. So once you have some of these soft skills, are you in CS, are you a customer service rep? You're always at the receiving end of customers complain, them shouting at you, blah. You are taking all of those things and you're resolving their conflict. That's a very good one as well. A very, very good one. If you're somebody who documents very well, you like writing, that's most of our job, we document. If you're somebody who facilitates, you like building rapport with people, you can talk very well, create relationship, listen to people's pain points, show empathy, because sometimes you're listening to the business, they're telling you that we don't like this, our systems. You're not just taking it like that for surface value. You want to know, why do you not like this system? Is there anything we can do to help you? And all of those facts, I feel like, you see, it's all these things are things I do every day. You need to be in a meeting. You need to be somebody who can concentrate. You need to be somebody who can miss, a bit of being playful, icebreakers and all of those things in meetings. The most important thing is that you are getting what you want and then you are delivering value to the organization.
Yeah. I think this question is tricky. Well, it depends on you. You train people.
Yeah.
How much does it cost? Because that's the other thing. What's the financial implication
So,
to become a business analyst?
Yeah, it's really tricky. It's not something I would just really want to talk about. Yeah,
Maybe not necessarily your own training suit or your own training workshop, but generally, if someone wants to become a business analyst, what costs should they bear in mind?
On the average, it takes from what people train in the UK, it takes around an average of 500 to, I've seen people take 300 in pounds for that. But for me, it's not really about the money. For me, it's about whether you are getting value for what you are paying for. On my first class with my classes with my students, I always sit them down and I ask them, what do you want? Do you want a trainer or you want a mentor? So there is that thin line between who is a trainer and who is a mentor. A trainer will just come to class, speak, and whether you accept or you don't accept, at the end of the training, he leaves the classroom. A mentor is somebody who is looking at you, telling you, seeing whether you are, absorbing what he's telling you, looking at your strength and identifying that Mr. A's strength might be different from Mr. B's strength, knowing how to take the pace of the class, making sure that he's delivering value, and not just after the training, making sure that he's holding everybody, when he gives them assignments, he's always coming back to look at them and all of that. And for me, the journey is not, it doesn't end at the 3 months. Most times when I go live, on whether TikTok or Twitter, and people hear me talking, they always come because these are people that I've helped. So I've helped people who are door security, who work in door security. They are now business analysts.
Wow.
I have people who work in the NHS as carers. They are now business analysts, and they're enjoying their career. And for me, it's not about just being indebted. It's just about continuing that. I'm growing a large community of professionals, especially BAs on Telegram, and normally every Saturday we meet by 6 p.m. and what we discuss is how has your week gone. So it's not just about getting the job. You have that support. You're always there. Mr. Charles is always available, and I don't know it, or if there's something I don't know, some other people would be able to help you. And it's a big community. Even myself, I've learned from leverage of my students' knowledge in my workplace as well. So it's just about being in a very good community where you have like minds and all of that. So for me, it's not a function of how much you're paying to get that. It's what are you getting from that. Some people will go for training, and after that they'll struggle to get reference. Some people will go for training, learn the theory, and after that they don't have an opportunity to put together what they've learned on a work project and all of that. And then knowing that where we come from and what happens here, for you to do an internship, there are certain criteria you need to meet and all of that. So it's just, I've thought about all these things, and these 3 months we cover all of that. I've trained people in the past that week 1 they're camera shy, they're introverts, they can't come out and talk, and by week 3 they're speaking, they're defending, they're putting up slides, and at the end of their presentation they're answering their classmates or their colleagues any question. So it's something that we start at week 1, and before week 12, your confidence is somewhere else, and the training doesn't necessarily end after week 12. That's the stage where you become independent. You start applying. You've got everything to start applying for your jobs and everything. But I'm always reachable. I have time for everybody. That's the most important thing. Whereas most people, I've seen people who have trained, and when they have interview, they've called the people. I have an interview, and those people are nowhere to help them. So it's not about paying, it's about getting value for what you're paying for.
So it's not too capital intensive. It's not too capital intensive.
Not necessarily.
That's good. And then do you, for your training, is it every day for 12 weeks or certain days?
So Saturdays is normally 10 to 1 p.m. and Wednesdays is normally 7:30 to 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. And we take this on a cohort basis. It's not something, I'm not driven by money. It's about taking a certain set of people and making sure that before you leave them, they are up to that standard where they can be independent and start applying for job, and then you are able to support them from behind the scene before taking up another batch. So my current the new cohort will start on the 25th of this May. And we normally start with a free TESA session. Yeah, when I say TESA session, I have 1 hour 30 or 2 hours session with them, telling them who a business analyst is, what a business analyst does, and all of them, and I entertain questions. And after the 2 hours, if you look like, I've seen this person can help me in this my journey, then if you want to make that further distance, take that chance, then you can. If not,
I'll ask my producer, maybe I should join this cohort so that I can use this skill to come and do business analysis.
Everybody can do it. I've seen a lot of people. Like I said, a lot of people have transitioned. The funny thing is, even in organizations, people are leaving PM roles. People are transitioning from within the organization to do that. Because it's I would say it's not too difficult to do, but it's something that most people will love. If you're somebody who likes talking to people, understand. If you're somebody who is creative, You're somebody who likes challenging, business rules. Just you're not somebody they will tell you this because we do this way because this is how we've been doing it for 3 years or 50 years. You want to know, okay, we can't just do this because we've been doing it for 50 years. What value does this bring? If you're that kind of person, I would say you can jump into it. Yeah.
Enough of business analysis. I'm very mindful of our time, but I think that you've said some things that I want to see if I can piece out and things like that. You're a career coach.
Yeah.
You're also a mentor.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
So the career coach came up, lately. I said I was somebody who was camera shy. I didn't like social media and all of that. But lately, I've started building a big community on TikTok. I come up every 4:30, every other day live, 4:30 p.m. So as soon as I finish work, I come up there. And it's me challenging everybody. Even though you don't want to be a business analyst, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter what you want to do, make that move. Because what I find out is that immigrants and like me and you, we come to this country, living our professions. I've seen bank managers come here and struggle, doing what they don't want, some adult security, some work. There's nothing wrong with those jobs. Some people do it, to make ends meet. They see it like a placeholder for where they want to go. But the problem becomes that when they start doing these things, they don't make the next move. They don't get that encouragement and all of that. So it's not necessarily about being a business analyst or being in tech or all of that. I try to encourage people, whatever you are doing, make sure you do it very well. So that's how the career coach came about. And mostly lately these days on TikTok, I always look at people's CV. There are lots of experience and knowledge I share. I've had people come on my TikTok page to say that they've been applying for job for years and they're not getting traction, they're not getting calls. And there are little things, just being in the right place can change your make things work for you. So there are things people don't know, like how to format your CV, how to optimize your CV. I've seen lots of CVs from, people back home here, and they still put date of birth, state of origin. And
we should not put that.
No, it's that's where the career coach comes in.
Okay.
They say if you come to Rome, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So in Nigeria, in my work, someone was on my TikTok page the other day and was saying, in UAE, it's a requirement to put a photograph. Give it to them. If you're in Nigeria, they want reference on your CV, give it to them. But if you want to work in the UK and you're doing a CV, then give to them what they want. Nobody is going to be answering you for your date of birth. Nobody is going to answer whether you are black or on your CV. Nobody is going to be answering all of that. Your CV is an opportunity for you to tell them that your skills and experience aligns to that job description. So you should be spending much time talking about your personal statement, your skill sets, your technical proficiency, and then talking about your responsibilities in other places where you've worked in. And it's not just enough for you to say, I've done this, It's also good for you to put metrics, when you've done it, what value did it bring to the company? That's what recruiters are trying to know. You should be saying things that on implementation of this project, there was 7% increase in sales, customer satisfaction increased by 2%, and this is trackable through Trustpilot or Google Review. Those are things, people don't know all of this, and they spend the first one page of their service putting things that they shouldn't necessarily be putting, date of origin and all of that. People also don't know that there is an ATS machine here that scans CV, even before it gets to the eyes of the recruiter and all of that. I've seen people, they pass through the CV stage, but they don't know how to prepare also for interview. Most times the first question in an interview is, tell me about yourself. Most people don't know how to answer this question, and it's very worrying. And you see people who want to make this move, they put their CVs out, or they go for an interview, and because they don't meet this criteria, they don't have this, they don't have any way to fill this knowledge gap, they struggle and they go back to what they don't like doing. So that's why I said, okay, if I add career coach to my many titles and help talk to people, encourage them on their job role, not just that, tell them to find the balance between working hard and working smartly, and then finding the break, because a lot of mental health is something you need to find how to address challenges at work and all of those things. So that's what I've done, and I guess that's what has earned me the title of being a career coach.
So viewers at home, I'm sure you agree with me when I said Charles is actually a man of many ways. He's a business analyst and architect by background. He's a career coach. He's a mentor. is certainly a man of many ways. As we begin to wind down and close this interview session, 2 questions. I know you've told us business analysis and all those ones, but deep down, who is Mr. Charles Onyekapa?
That's a very nice question. So I think I've said most of them here. I'm somebody who likes to class himself like somebody who is creative. I think somebody asked me the other day, somebody saw me on TikTok, and apparently I finished from work and I joined that. I was talking to people and I want everybody to succeed. So yeah, I'm somebody who takes delight in people succeeding. When I came to this country some years ago, I said it on one of my videos on TikTok. Some of the people who took a risk on me, who invested in me, they knew me from nowhere. I made friends on social media, and they saw that I was struggling, to transition, and they took a risk. Somebody saw me actually online and invested in me, gave me £250.
Wow.
To go and pay for a training.
Wow.
So, people invested in me, and, my joy is seeing people, get that happiness in their career. Apart from that, I've already covered, I love writing a lot. I'm published. I've written 2 books. I used to write for some newspapers. In the UK, I've been published twice by BA Digest. I wrote a full article on transitioning into business analysis. And last month, I was published again on debunking some BA myths, trying to talk about some of the things people think about BAs. You've asked me quite a lot of them because, some people think that BA are data analysts. Some people think that you need to go to school to be a BA. Some people think that what we do is just requirement engineering. So I write quite a lot. I believe that I write more than I can talk. I don't know, it's always hard to describe yourself. I've talked about certification. I'm certified. I'm a certified business analyst, both when you talk about IIB and BCS. And I'm somebody who believes in personal development, and I'm big on that. I always tell people you are responsible for your own business, personal development. So it doesn't matter that training, learning never stops. Anywhere you get the opportunity to learn, even if you are running by and you see something you can learn, just learn, pick it. You don't know when you can use it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to our show. Before we leave, do you want to drop your TikTok handle for our viewers at home, and then your contact out today if they want to join your group? How do they do that?
So my TikTok handle is at Charlie Russo. If you want to follow me on TikTok, you follow me on TikTok at Charlie Russo. And if you want to follow East Edge, the organization where I work for, I think most of the handle are East Edge Tech, and the website is www.eastedgetech.co.uk. eastedgetech.co.uk. Hopefully, I think that you will drop it on the description on this one, but you just want me to say that again. One thing I can say is I'm very open. It's difficult because sometimes my phone lines go crazy, but I try to make out time for everybody. I met somebody on TikTok the other day who had an interview the next day. So you won't believe that I put in a section with him just to prep him, and he didn't have to pay for that.
Oh.
So, I take out time, and if you...
Did he get the interview?
I prepped him, and unfortunately he listened to me and he said he was not ready. He cancelled the interview, which I didn't want to. I didn't want him to, but I just wanted him to know. I tell people when you go for an interview, you need to be prepared. You need to research about the organization. And I asked him quite some few questions, and he had nerves. He felt like he wasn't quite ready. But
I think it was the right decision after all.
Yeah. But I think most people have benefited from listening to me talk. Especially on TikTok, they come join my community and they get a lot of value. These interview questions and CV and all of those things, we cover that quite a lot. And like I said, no knowledge is a waste. I advise people to always stay in an environment where they can learn. That's the most important thing. And we do a lot of freebies. Last month, we did a webinar for people in change where we talked about interviews versus workshop. Yeah. So we do a lot of freebies. So the most important thing is building a network, staying in a network. If you see somebody that can help you grow, stay there. Make sure you're always via like minds. I think that's the first step, in terms of personal development and in terms of transitioning. Some people would not have heard anything about IT or business analysis until they start being in space where it is discussed. Yeah, so that's the first step.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jones.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've enjoyed speaking with you. Thank you.
Same, man.
Yeah.
So if you're watching us and if you enjoyed the session, I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can benefit from subsequent editions and subsequent sessions we'll be having. Like I said, my name is Olaniyi Fayemi and I'm handling in for Kemi Oshideyi, who is currently behind the camera. Till next time when we come your way, enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sparkz FM.
We beat the beats.
Sparkz FM.